Yep.
Episode 5.
Yeah.
We're here. Bit of growth after a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah. So what? We made a deal on podcast 3, which isn't released yet, because we decided that you would leave your facial hair for 2 weeks.
And officially you got 2 more days.
It looks good. I reckon it actually looks sharp as. The whole point was you said you couldn't grow facial hair.
Yeah.
Obviously you're wrong.
Yeah, but to me facial hair is like you got a moustache. You can grow a moustache.
Yeah, but I've never shaved it. I shaved it once, ever.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't really call this growth.
If I was you personally, I would grow it out for another 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then just get a beard once and then shave it forever.
You want to shake it?
What, you'll do that?
Nah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Nah, no chance. Unfortunately not.
How's the body?
Yeah, good. Feeling pretty good right now. Went for a big ride this morning to work. Good.
How far?
Good way to start the day. I don't know in K's, but it was 30 minutes. It was just freezing.
Yeah. Riding
cold.
in the cold. Riding in the cold's real bad, eh? The hands and the nose just get so freezing.
Yeah, my nose is dripping.
Yeah.
My hands are like ice, and it was painful. Like first 5 minutes, I was enjoying it. The sunrise was coming up.
Good sunrise?
It's average. And then, but it was just so cold.
Yeah.
My hands are stuffed. So
Yeah.
top 5 things to do when it's cold.
Top 5 things to do when it's cold.
Is ride your bike.
Oh yeah. It's pretty cold though, eh?
Freezing.
Today's a top of 17 or 18.
And that's cold for us.
It's freezing, man. The sun's shining brightly, but it's bloody cold.
I don't know what it was in the morning, but it felt very cold.
Yeah. Yep, my body is feeling pretty good. No complaints. Plantar fascia's getting a little bit feely, but that's it.
And from footy?
It was just from everything, yeah.
Big result on the weekend?
Yeah, good 100-point thrashing. You always got to have a good 100-point thrashing every often, every here and there.
Bit of talk about a high to low. High from the return, getting the win, to the low.
Yeah.
That's footy though.
Especially against South Mandurah, man. Don't like losing to them.
It's a derby, isn't it?
Well, yeah, technically it is a derby, yeah. And they pumped us.
Yeah, the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons, they're a good team. They're always a good team. Always.
They got a few AFL boys, ex-AFL boys.
Yeah, got that. Just very well drilled, very fit, always just talking to the umpires calling them by their first names, having conversations during the game.
Yeah, it's a bit strange that.
Yeah, it is, but
it's not a good look.
It is when they're always on top of the ladder.
Yeah, I guess.
I literally said to the club, because Akon as the captain went out, they called him out in the middle of the game and they were like, you have to sort your team out. And he was like, mate, there's not much we can do. Because there were some pretty audacious decisions by them.
Oh, the
umps.
The umpires called out Akon.
And then, to say sort the team out, which, I don't know. And then Akon said that and they said, oh, will you come down to training on a Wednesday with us? And you can see what we train? I said to the club, I'll go down on a Wednesday night and train with the umpires then.
That's sick.
I'll do it. I'm going to tell them to message them.
Yeah, this week.
I guarantee when they said that, they didn't think their fucking old mate would literally pull the trigger, eh? So whenever I can, but...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they call me...
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, they call me by first name as well, and I don't know them. They're nice guys, I guess, but...
Respect to the umpires, though, for, knowing the players.
Yeah, true.
But, because you always hear them at AFL, they know every single player.
Yeah, it makes sense in AFL, though, because,
they're getting paid a fair bit.
They're celebrity athletes, right?
Yeah, but they know even, the rookies.
Yeah.
They know every single player, and they often call them by the first name.
Yeah.
That's a lot of players that they got to know.
Yeah, but it's in the spotlight, I guess. It's weirder when you're playing, country footy and an umpire says, oh, just hear Jake do this. It's like...
Yeah, it's strange.
I can't remember the time we met.
You don't know who they are?
Well, I've seen them before.
Yeah.
but I've never spoken to him properly or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's strange. Jump.
Worst things to do in the cold, backing up that bike talk. I reckon cycling in the cold, especially if you don't have the right equipment, is one of the worst things you can do.
It's not fun.
No.
It's just, you need to be prepared. If you have a hoodie and gloves are underrated on the bike.
Gloves are severely underrated, yeah.
But it feels good. Like, I enjoy the breathing in the cold air while riding.
Yeah, but your hands...
The hands is...
Yeah, we're in pain.
They're not feeling the love, so... That's definitely up there. What else is bad in the cold?
Getting out of bed.
And
that happens every morning for about 2 months.
Yeah. We're pretty lucky, as in Perth. Like, yes, it gets cold, but can you imagine being in a country where it snows, where you got to layer up?
No, I can't. I did it when I was real young, but like, I can't remember what it feels like, honestly. But they've got good central indoor heating in Europe and stuff like that.
Like, our houses aren't built.
You don't wake up and it's cold, man. That's not how it works. Like, you wake up, the house is hot as. You put all your layers on to get prepared to leave that heat, and then by the time you get out, it takes like a couple minutes to warm up.
Yeah, true. That's so true. But then in summer, it switches, where their houses are shocking in the heat.
Yeah, hot as.
Like, so hot. I remember in England, it was like only 20 degrees and I just couldn't sleep. Because the house was so hot.
I was looking at a post today about the worst marathons that should have been called off. One of them was like London 2018 marathon, because heaps of people suffered from heat exhaustion and strokes and whatever from it. 23.4 degrees.
Gee, that's pristine.
Dude, that's literally perfect running weather. And they were dropping like flies.
We just did we didn't do it, but the HBF was yesterday for Perth.
Yeah, but what?
That would have been like 18, I don't know. Degrees?
Yeah, probably 18, 20.
Oh, actually, it was really early in the morning.
Yeah.
So it would have been fresher than that.
Would have been freezing, man.
But going back to the actual question, so riding is obviously up there, getting out of bed. What else? Probably PTing at Revo Rockingham when the fans are on and it's so cold.
Yeah, that is the worst.
And especially if you go into the leg press or the hack squat and you're right under that fan.
When I do go to like leg press or hack squat, I'm always thinking like, where can I stand where I'm not going to be
optimal
freezing, dripping from my nostrils, man, dripping. Yeah.
Especially if you're in the middle one.
Yeah.
I always get self-conscious that I've got like snot coming out.
Yeah, I do, and I have to do like the little turnaround, just the posterior wrist there. Yeah. Revo is, that's two things about Revo that is just utterly disappointing. It's freezing, man.
So cold.
It's literally like being in the South Pole most of the time. And then so it's completely freezing whenever it's not boiling hot outside. And whenever it's boiling hot outside, it's bloody hot as it is.
Yeah, it's so humid. Like,
I almost never go in there and I'm like, this is a comfortable condition to be in.
Yeah.
That and their music is shocking.
Yeah, the music is mid.
Like, sometimes I look at my client and I'm just like, should we just end this right now? Because the next 4 songs are going to be the same. They're going to be dirt.
They play just the same songs on repeat.
I'm so desensitized to the trash music because of the songs they play.
I love when the clients are like, oh, who picks the music? And you just go, oh, I've got no idea.
Who picks the music?
Yeah.
That's a real question for Revo, literally.
Yeah, legit. What other things are bad in the cold?
In the cold?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Camping I enjoy in the cold.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Because you can it's like the challenge of it.
To the experience, yeah.
You got to get a fire going and all that. If you're not prepared, it sucks.
What doesn't suck if you're not prepared?
What doesn't suck if you're not?
I've heard you say like 2 or 3 times, if you're not prepared, it sucks. What is out there where if you're severely underprepared that it's good? Anything?
Going to the beach. You don't really need to prepare for the beach.
What if you're just wearing like jeans and sneakers and stuff?
Let's go on your undies.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off.
What if you're at like a popular beach?
Go on your undies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Out of all things, the beach is probably something you don't really need to be prepared for. Obviously, if it's hot, you want like a hat and that.
Is it socially acceptable to go to the beach in your undies?
No.
I do it, but is it?
Oh, I don't feel comfortable if I do have to swim undies.
Yeah.
But people do, and other countries, they swim with nothing.
Yeah, I know. God bless those countries, eh?
Yeah.
Nothing better than going to Barcelona Beach.
Never been, so...
Didn't you go to Barcelona?
No, I went to Spain, but I didn't go to Barcelona. Yes. Still question that.
Yeah, talk me through that. What happened? How did you not end up in Barcelona? You don't have to go there, but...
I don't know. Our good mate Shuey and I were travelling, and I think we were in Iceland at the time, or somewhere. No, we're from Iceland to England, and we're so over the cold. And it was getting towards the end of summer in Europe, and we're like, we just need a bit of warmth. So we went to Spain. I forgot the name of the actual place we went to. It was a beach town.
Seville?
No. And then we soaked that up for a bit, and then we went to Seville. And then we also went to Madrid, but yeah, didn't go to Barca. Don't really know why. Probably should have. But I can always go back.
Yeah, you can always go back.
Hopefully.
That's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of travel.
What's the top 3 places that you were going to go to on that trip that you didn't even end up going to? Or that you wanted to go to that you didn't end up going to?
Pretty much all Eastern Europe.
No, you did Eastern Europe.
Yeah, not a lot of it. Like, I don't know, I wanted to go to Slovenia.
Yeah.
You heard of that place? You recommended it a bit?
Yeah, maybe.
Where else did I go?
Where'd you go in Eastern Europe? You went to Greece, which is technically Eastern Europe, I guess. Did you go to like
No, I didn't go to Albania. I wanted to... Is it Dolomites?
Dolomites?
Yeah, Dolomites.
Yeah, they're a little bit to the west.
Yeah.
They're in Italy.
I'm a bit scattered of where the Europe map is right now.
Yeah.
But you did get a few places that trip.
Yeah.
So, but it's just the beauty of how things work.
That's the beauty of life.
When you don't really plan it, you just wing it.
Yeah.
But I can always go back. I definitely want to go back to Slovenia.
Yeah.
Or not back, but I want to go to Slovenia.
It's not a bad holiday. I've had a couple friends go. A couple friends that I've written itineraries up for are going this summer, which is good.
That's good.
So, yeah, that's pretty pleasing.
This episode is powered by SJs, training, community, and everything in between for only $1 a day. Check out our free 7-day trial now.
I always think that this is like a pretty generally accepted concept, pretty basic one, but it turns out a lot of people ask us what this is. What actually is RPE for people that don't know?
Okay, so rate of perceived exertion.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much an intensity scale. Generally 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Or it is 1 to 10.
Well, technically it's 6 to 16, isn't it?
That's
1 to 16, the original
the
one.
original one, yeah.
Yeah. By Borg. I don't know what his name was, but...
But now it's obviously 1 to 10. And it's just a tool to measure your training intensity.
Yeah.
Generally, we don't really... When we're actually training, we don't really care about 1 to 5. Would you say?
Yeah, 1 to 5 doesn't exist, eh? When would you... Yeah. Yeah, you're
And
right.
so generally when we're training, we're getting people to train to around a 7 out of 10, 7 to 8 out of 10, which is pretty much 70%, 80% of your max effort. But the beauty of RPE is that it changes on a pretty much daily basis.
So scalable.
And depending on how you're feeling on that day.
Yeah.
So you could do a bench press, a set of 5 at 70 kilos. On Monday, it could be an 8 out of 10. But then when you go to do it on a Thursday, you've had footy training, you've had a shit sleep. So when you go to train to an RPE 8, you might not hit that same weight again.
Yeah.
I've kind of not really explained that in simple terms, but...
Hey, you explain it pretty simply. It's just good. It's like just a very simple intensity measurement that's extremely scalable, like you mentioned. So it changes depending on explicitly how you feel, really.
Yeah.
And it's just super simple.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a time where you'd prescribe... Like, when would you prescribe a 5 RPE, you know?
Yeah.
Like, can you even think of a time?
No. Generally, it's always just around that I love doing uppies. What's it called? Not scale, but range.
Yeah.
I always generally just do a range because like you say to someone do an RPE 7, they'll either undershoot it, go to a 6, or they'll do the complete worst where they just overshoot it. So I always just do a range, or I could just, depending on the client, just say hard.
Yeah.
And then in brackets RPE 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a job as the coach, is to give them an RPE and then explain to them where they overshot or undershot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then help them kind of gauge, because no one knows their own body better than themselves, but even though this is a very simple, basic concept, people still struggle with it.
Oh, 100%.
Especially 7. People just say, you'll say, what was that? And they'll go, 7.
Yeah.
How was your training? 7. How was that exercise? 7. Because it's just easy. Even I do.
It's just, yeah, same. Because it's just that number.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's very, very, very hard, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
A good tool I like to use is obviously goes hand in hand is reps and reserve.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
And say if you get a client to change to an RPE and they say, oh yeah, but I only had 2 left in the tank.
Yeah.
And then if they're new, I'll just get them to do a set to pretty much failure.
Yeah.
And then if they're going anything more than 3 and above of what they did, then it just paints a picture for them. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Especially at the start of their training where they're not really like aware of what they're capable of. I think training to failure is a very good tool to learn up here.
Yeah.
Not to pure failure, but you know.
Yeah, I almost actually use reps in reserve now, just more than RPE. Like they go hand in hand, but it's way easier for someone to identify 3 reps in reserve than to identify 7 RPE.
Yeah.
Especially if they're like inexperienced in the gym or in training.
Yeah. And yeah, so true. And some people get RPE straight away.
Yeah.
Where some people it takes them a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple, but at the same time it can be, if you make it complex, it can actually be pretty complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's definitely way better than percentage-based lifting and stuff.
Oh, 100%.
It's not, like, if you've got an actual, say, like a power lifter, then percentage-based is good, working alongside RPE.
Yeah.
But if you've just got, like, standard general pop type person...
RPE is king.
RPE is always king, but used alongside percentage-based is really good as well.
Yeah, agree. I
reckon from, like, amateurs, novices, down to, like, elite professional athletes.
It's just such a good tool.
Here's a question. So, I had to do my first aid on last Friday, which is just...
We love doing first aid.
Yeah.
We love it.
I think you need to know first aid in case something happens to someone or yourself.
100%.
But, like, gee, those courses ain't it, man. They ain't it.
No.
Like, I often go in there and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try my best here to, like, really make the most out of this. And then I ended up just, like...
Especially when I find, like, you're doing it and no offence to the people assessing you, because they normally have so many people in the room at once.
Mm.
They're watching someone over here and then you're just doing the thing. And then they're like, okay, that was good.
Yeah.
But it's just a tick box.
It's literally just a tick. That's one thing that pisses me off about Australia, actually, is legislatively, there's just so many box ticking things that don't, like, you're never going to a first aid to really get competent in first aid.
No.
You're going just to tick a box.
And it should...
Yeah, same with, like, you know, JSAs and, like, you know those forms that you fill out to assess risks at work?
It's just insurance.
No one assesses risk. They just literally tick the boxes.
Yeah. A lot of them courses, or especially for first aid, if you want to learn it, it's totally up to you. I reckon.
Yeah, it is.
Like, if you want to put the investment into it, and you actually want to walk away, like, you're confident in it, it's purely up to you. But you could easily go in there, not give a shit, and get it.
Yeah.
Because obviously the company that you're going through just wants a bit of cash sometimes.
Yeah, it's one insane. Like, it's weird when you enter a course and you can't fail.
But it's pretty much the whole, like, TAFE system.
Well, you can fail TAFE, but if you do all the work, surely you can't.
No. They'll find a way to.
They'll find a way. Yeah. So I was doing that, and it was, it was pretty normal. You got like half the group of like ethnic people, half the group's just like real random white characters. I was sitting next to a woman who was like, "Oh yeah, don't care about this that much. Like I just do it for my job." But then literally like every single thing I did, she like had to have some sort of comment on it.
In regards to what?
Like everything I did. For example, I was doing the CPR, and I do it with one hand over the other hand, and then I push with like my inner wrist.
Yeah.
And then she'd just be like, "Oh, you got to finger lock your fingers, eh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, you don't."
Well, she was just doing the course too?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You got to because... And I was like, "Why do you have to do that?" She was like, "Oh, because you could, like, potentially injure them." And I'm like, "You're going to probably break all their ribs doing it anyway." Like, but every, like, little things just had something to say about it.
Be good to work with?
Oh, yeah, just trying to micromanage her. But it did make me think, like, everyone should be able to give CPR.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like that is something that if you're unable to provide CPR, that's up to your like duty of care of yourself and your own well-being. You should be able to do that.
Everyone in the world would be a lot better for it.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what are some things you reckon, say, people between like 16 and 40 should be able to do, non-negotiables?
Well, you could say CPR is one.
CPR. And I'm talking about in terms of like fitness, being able to do the CPR for 15, 20 minutes.
Well, if you're going down that hole, you could get down a whole rabbit hole, like, of what? In regards to anything?
Yeah.
Like run a certain amount of distance?
Yeah, well, if you think that.
Maybe like better run 20 minutes non-stop?
Yeah. How many people do you reckon can run for 20 minutes non-stop?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a fair amount. Instead of distance. Because what if there's an emergency and you need to run? Someone's chasing you.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously there's life or death moments when people do that, get that adrenaline, but I don't know.
But running for 20 minutes is a long time.
It is. But it's steady pace.
Yeah, maybe like walking a couple kilometres.
Yeah. What else do you think?
I think just being able to walk a couple of kilometres without getting shortness of breath.
Yeah.
You should be able to do that.
Like, go for a walk and be able to, like, call someone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I reckon, I'd love to know how much of the general pop could just, or the population in general, obviously, just couldn't do that.
It would be a lot.
Yeah.
But percentage-wise, it would be quite high.
Do you reckon that it would be unkind to say that people should be under a certain percentage of like body fat?
In this day and age,
Yeah.
you'd probably get cancelled.
Yeah, well,
But the world would be a better place for it.
people couldn't, if like, there's a lot of overweight people out there that could not do CPR for more than like 2 minutes.
No.
And then what happens? You die if you're in a situation with them.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people should have a lot more respect for themselves
Yeah.
in regards to how they look after their body. But I don't know. I think that, it should be almost a requirement, but
It should, and that's what I'm saying. What do you reckon should be like the legitimate requirements of people, just of looking after themselves?
just daily exercise. And by exercise, that's just like going for a walk.
Yeah.
Like just some form of movement. Because it's not that hard to look after yourself.
It's not. I mean...
I know it can be for some people with certain challenges, but still.
Yeah. But even like just eating right. You don't even have to exercise that much. You just have to
look after
make
yourself.
sure you're not just like overindulging or like eating the stuff that's not really appropriate.
Yeah. In this day and age, there's so many different things like you can do to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Like you can get a treadmill at home if you want to. if you want something that bad.
But why would you not just go for a walk outside?
Oh, no.
Unless it's raining, but even then, just like put a raincoat on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, but there's still so many ways if you don't want to go for a walk outside. If you don't want to involve yourself with other people or the outside world, you can still get it done at home.
What do you reckon is some good... If you were hired by the Australian government to come up with kind of some requirements or rules that people have to do, either on a daily or a bi-weekly basis, to maintain their health, what would you have on that list?
Be active for like longer than 15 minutes per day.
Yeah.
In any form. Because if you get someone to do something for longer than 15 minutes, they'll probably double it.
Yeah.
Or do more of it, so it's an easy stepping stone. Just the basic healthy diet. Not diet, but just eating healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, but how? Like, how are you going to objectify that? You can't just say, like, eat healthy. What does that mean?
As in, like, what actual food?
Like, what would
how are you going to put it in
say,
place?
like, oh, you can only eat these types of foods X amount of times a week, or you have to consume this X foods this much a week?
I don't know. Oh, it's just hard.
Yeah.
Just get your protein in.
I would just say...
Get your veggies, get your fruit.
I know, but how much? I would say eat 2 fruit, 5 veg.
Yeah, 2 fruit, 5 veg.
Like, that's pretty standard and pretty easy to follow.
1.5 to 2 grams per kilo body weight of protein.
Yeah.
You could just say 1.5 as a broad range. I think that isn't that hard to do. Like, people can say it's expensive. Yeah, it is, but I don't know. It's
Yeah,
how much do you
protein's
value,
expensive, but it's also not. You can get
how much do you value your health?
You can get cans of tuna for like 90 cents, 80 cents.
Yeah. I don't know.
You can get, like, vegetables, you can get frozen vegetables. I literally got like a kilogram for $2 the other day.
Yeah.
You can get canned tuna, which is like 90 cents for a can of like 100 grams. So like not even $2, and you probably got enough protein there for dinner if you're like just the normal person. Fruit's expensive.
Yeah. And they go hand in hand. Like, if you're exercising for 15 minutes, you probably be a bit more alert of what you're actually putting into your body. So this is healthy habits.
Yeah.
So if you just set those 2 standards of doing something for 15 minutes or longer, and then the healthy eating, the world would be a lot better place.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think I would never, like, not yuck anyone's yum, I would never like put someone down for being a certain way, even if I think it's objectively wrong. But it's honest, like, you should just have to look after yourself. It puts strain on your life, your family's life, it puts strain on like the taxpayers' dollars with like the obesity crisis at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's, people frame it because there's like a whole movement where it's like, oh, love who you are. It's like, yeah, love who you are, but that doesn't mean that you have to like push away improving
definitely.
yourself or being like appropriate fit for society, really.
It's sometimes people who look after themselves are often seen like as the weird people by society, especially people who drink and that. Like, why the fuck would you want to wake up at 6 a.m. to go training? Like, they're considered the weird ones. I've been on a holiday before, I remember, and I was younger and my family were getting up for sunrise to go climb a mountain, and everyone was like, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
Like, that is so weird.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty cool thing to climb a volcano for sunrise. That's sick.
Yeah.
Like, how is that considered a bad thing?
I don't know. Maybe because...
That's society sometimes.
Do you reckon it's because people feel guilty about it?
Yeah.
Like,
Like, try to shame them.
Yeah, people try to shame others.
A quick word from our sponsors, us, SJs. We train, talk shit, and help you move better. You can do the same by checking out our 7-day free trial in the show notes.
Yeah.
Jingle, jingle. Alright. Overrated, underrated. As usual, as per. So we'll start with exercise. It's a bit of a it's not really a hot topic at the moment, but I'd probably say the last year it definitely is. It's one of your faves, Nordics.
Nordic curls.
Yeah. Overrated, underrated?
Probably underrated. And my reason is, you got to be able to perform them well and execute them well to get the best benefits.
Yeah.
99% of people that do Nordics can't even do a Nordic, you know? And then you've got people saying like, oh yeah, Nordics is shit. And it's like, well, you can't do it properly.
Yeah.
So of course it's going to be shit. Imagine like giving someone RDLs and they just can't do it and they're doing like a Jefferson curl.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, this is impractical, it doesn't work, it's not effective. That's why. But honestly, I'm leaning a little bit more away from it. But definitely not underrated. I still think like just doing RDL, it's the king. But at the same time, like...
It's a neutral one, isn't it? Because
Nordic curls, razor curls, like if you can perform them and perform them well, why would you not do that?
Yeah. People just hate them because a lot of the time because of the setup.
Yeah. So like people that hate Nordics, do they hate like a leg extension or a leg curl? Because you're just doing the same thing, but you can just control it way better because it's less load.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably say neutral, maybe underrated.
Okay. Sport? Equestrian.
The horses?
Yeah.
Nah, it's overrated.
What are your thoughts when it comes on at the Olympics?
What's on the other channels?
Skip the channel?
Yeah. To be fair, like, the horse is the one competing.
Yeah. You feel bad for the horse sometimes though. Like I know they look after them.
Yeah, I feel bad for all horses, to be honest. Like, they get abused pretty badly. I'm not saying they all get abused, right? And I'm not inside the four walls of, like, horse sports. But you know when you see one get injured and they just put the curtain up and shoot it, it's like, that's fucking pretty cruel.
You see it fall over, you go, well, is that a good life?
Yeah, literally. And the greyhounds too.
Yeah, shocking.
But, I mean, allegedly they're being looked after. But equestrian, it's like, yeah, it's not my thing, so I think it's overrated. But, I mean, in terms of the horse sports world, it's probably pretty cool. It's probably like fucking Formula One of horses.
Net.
Yeah, the net horses. Yeah, so probably overrated.
And last but not least, learning a language.
Oh, severely underrated.
I agree.
Everyone else does it except us. You know, us,
arrogant in a way.
English, you know, your traditional English people, just like, oh yeah, everyone just will conform to us and speak English, which they do. And we don't need to speak another language. You'll never need to speak another language in your life. You'll always get away speaking English. But, firstly, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Secondly, have a bit of respect for like some people and just try to put... You don't even need to learn an entire language. I have like a rule when I go somewhere. I learn like, hello, how are you? Please and thank you. And I learn to count to like 3.
Yeah.
Just so that I can get away with like just saying the bare minimum and usually asking for something. And it shows that you like appreciate the people and care about
It's just a bit of respect, eh?
I remember I went to Thailand with some friends and I always used to say like, cup on cup, which is thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. And my mate was like, why do you say that to them? They think you're an idiot. And I'm like, woof. Maybe they do. If they don't, at least they know that I'm like literally not just going, yeah, give me that, thanks. Like, I don't give a...
You're showing a bit of respect.
Yeah.
You might not be saying it right, but they still respect you for it.
Yeah, they still respect you for it. And not even mentioned, like, it's so good for your brain to learn another language.
So good for your brain. I wish I kept, like, in primary school, we learned a bit of Japanese.
Imagine if you could speak fluently Japanese.
So good, man. Like,
yeah.
I still remember the basic words, but then when you got to high school, it was like optional.
Yeah. Did you ever learn Italian?
Nah, but I just wish I just kept Japanese because I don't know, it would have been so handy. Imagine going to Japan and then you just start speaking.
And flexing, man. Firstly, you're a white dwarf. They'd be like, what the hell?
And imagine
secondly, you just spitball Japanese to them, man. They would love that.
It'd be so good. And nowadays, like, you got so much access to learn another language.
Yeah.
It's so easy to. It's not easy, but compared to back in the day when
to learn English, to learn French, to learn Spanish, it's not. You can consume content all day.
Yeah.
All day. Back in the day, you had to get a dictionary.
Mm.
But so why do you regret not continuing Japanese?
This would have been cool to
speak another language.
One, to speak another language. Two, go to Japan and be able to speak it. And then
Yeah.
it's good for the brain.
So then, what's stopping you now?
Yeah, I'm actually just processing this right now.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. I don't know. I could. I
mean,
must start.
It's hard.
Very hard.
Yeah, and it takes a long time, like 10,000 hours type shit. But it's not impossible.
No.
I'm saying that, but I haven't studied any Slovenian or Serb since work got hectic at the start of the year. I haven't even touched it. The only study I've been doing is watching memes in Serb.
That's pretty good.
And that's it.
I think, like, when you surround yourself there in the country, helps a lot, which you obviously did.
Yeah.
And I think that's something, if I was, like, properly wanted to learn that language, that's what I would have to do.
That's like...
I know it's an excuse, but still.
Yeah. Step one, just move straight to Norwich, man. And just listen to them talk.
You reckon?
Pick up that English slang and then move on to another language. You should learn another language. We should do a bet every time we do a podcast where you say you'll do something. Like the last one was you not shaving.
Yeah, which I did.
This one you should get like a 50-day streak in Duolingo or something.
Okay, I'll do it.
Will you actually do it?
Yeah.
In what language?
Japanese.
Why Japanese though?
Because I know, like, the basic stuff.
Yeah, but what's the how many words do you know? Like 10?
Konnichiwa, watashi wa sam desu, mama desu ka?
That's like, yeah, that's a way to greet yourself. That's like, what, 6 words?
Yeah, and I can count 1 to 10.
And then what else?
I can't count 10 to 20.
So realistically, you know, like 16 words.
If that, yeah.
So like your theory behind like, oh, I already know the basics.
What?
You know 16 words, man. That's
I
not
don't
a
know
lot.
anything else in any other language.
I know, but it's a good time to start.
Yeah, so I'm 16 words ahead of any other language, so may as well. Obviously, I can say a few things in, like, Spanish and that, but not much.
Yeah. If I had to learn another language right now, I would learn Spanish. No questions.
Yeah.
No questions.
Yeah.
Because that would just help you so much around majority of the world. If I didn't learn Spanish, I would learn maybe Chinese.
Yeah, Mandarin. Mandarin?
Yeah, maybe Mandarin. But I feel like it's not my tongue. Like,
Yeah, a bit. Shout out Dylan Vanderkos.
he's learning Mandarin.
He was. I actually should follow up with him.
Yeah.
But he had a huge streak on Duolingo. It was like almost a year.
That's a tough language, man.
And he could, like, speak it, and it was like every day on the train, he should instead do him and bring out the Duolingo.
Yeah, that's smart. The problem I have with Duolingo is like, it's not deep studying. It's not deep learning.
Yeah, but it's good for the basics.
It's better than nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's good for the basics.
So I'll get out a 16-day streak of Duolingo for Japanese.
16? No, 50.
50. Okay.
Would you actually do that?
Oh, yeah.
If you, right now for the pod, if you do 50 days streak on Duolingo, I'll do a 50-day streak of 20-minute study of Slovenian.
Okay, deal. Another pod, another shake.
I just can't believe you're choosing Japanese.
Yeah, it's part of that. I had good teachers in Japanese, so...
Nothing against Japanese people or the language, but I'd definitely have a think about it. Definitely have a think about it. Because consider that only Japanese people speak Japanese, really, whereas like if you learn Spanish, you could speak to the whole of South
I was
America.
learning Spanish for a bit, but...
Just
I
hard.
don't know, everyone learns Spanish, so... I'll learn Japanese.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair. How do we get onto that from over and unders? Is that it?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
okay.
the over-under segment.
Cool. Speaking of countries, that's a great segue. Here's a question. Countries that should have their own dog but don't. And what should it be? So you know you've got a German Shepherd,
French Bulldog.
French Bulldog, you've got these dogs.
Australian Shepherd.
Yep. What's a country that you think deserves their own dog? And what do you think it should be? I think Austria. The
What
fact
dog?
that the German Shepherd is German, if I was Austrian, I wouldn't be too pleased with that. I'd say like, what about us?
What dog should they have?
The German Shepherd, I reckon, should be the German. It should be the German Austro-Hungarian Shepherd.
What goes through your brain, eh?
Mate, they're pretty similar countries, and then Germany just took the Shepherd.
What about New Zealand?
What would you have for New Zealand? They got sheep.
Yeah, they can't really do New Zealand.
What, maybe the Tanzanian dingo or something?
Well, I think like you got the Australian Shepherd, but I think the Kelpie is more of an Australian dog.
Yeah. Kelpie is such an Australian term, such an Australian word, sorry.
And then you got the Australian Shepherd, and it's like if I was a Kelpie, I'd be like pissed off.
What about a blue heeler?
I love blue heelers.
Blue heeler's Australian. Where are blue heelers from?
I don't know, but
They're an Australian dog.
they have to be.
You're never gonna.
Mum and mate, the steward.
Yeah.
Steel's
Medallia Steel, man.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Medallia Steel as well. They sort us out whenever we need it.
But yeah, that's a tough. I don't actually know.
I'm assuming that like China would have a dog.
Yeah.
The Irish have this like golden retriever type looking dog.
The Scottish have the Scottish Hound.
What's that look like?
Couldn't tell you. If you're watching this video, it's coming out right now.
What? Yeah, I don't know. What country should have their own dog? Maybe like New Zealand, and they could have like a mouldy type looking dog, like a big, burly,
Like
like
a strong dog.
tough dog, yeah. But tough, but not mean. Like very, very sensitive, very respectful dog.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Real gentle.
Barefoot in the gym. My thoughts are no. Don't take your shoes off in a commercial. No, don't take your socks off in a commercial.
Oh,
gym.
yeah, you need your socks on, but tell you what, gymming in socks has a bit of aura behind it. Like, it feels good.
I exclusively trained in socks for 3 or 4 years, and even when I was doing upper body, I'd just walk in with some like slides.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm just lazy. I can't be bothered taking my shoes off, and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But I'll almost still exclusively just take the old cleats off.
It does feel good, I reckon, especially if you're doing squats.
Yeah.
And you're walking around, like, if people see you, they know that you train.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think it has that feeling behind it.
I think it's a lot. I haven't worn a barefoot shoe, but I think it's a lot different to a barefoot shoe as well.
I've worn barefoot shoes, bought like 1 or 2 pairs, wouldn't go back, but no offense to barefoot shoe companies.
Why? What shoes did you get?
Vivos. I think
you didn't like them.
they didn't suit my foot. And then I seen myself wearing them and I was like, oh, they just don't.
Do you still have them?
I gave them to my mum. My mum loves them.
Yeah. You have the same size foot as your mum?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
But the shoe was actually a bit big for me, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know,
I just think from a sanitary perspective,
Yeah, you
just
should-
keep the dogs. I would take the shoes off, honestly, if I needed to. If I needed to get some sort of like sensory feeling on the foot, which I really don't. Like, I'm a PT, I'm not some sort of like physio rocket scientist. But if I needed to, I would.
Yeah.
But sometimes I see people just take the shoes and socks off and then don't even need to, and they're just rocking the
that's
barefoot.
right. No, yeah.
That's great.
You
'cause
need
lay,
socks on.
You lay on the floor, like you touch the floor, you're all touching the same stuff.
Yeah, you need socks. You need the sockies on.
And I know some people have a foot fetish, but personally speaking, I hate feet
Yeah,
with a passion. I don't want to touch anyone's
especially
feet.
when people are training.
Yeah.
Have a bit of respect for the people around you.
Where else do you reckon you shouldn't wear? You should have at least shoes on? Because I personally wear barefoot sometimes in the shops and stuff.
See, shops I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Especially a small shop like an IGA.
Yeah.
You go to the beach and you're swinging past the IGA to get something. Woolies, Coles, but like a clothes shop, like if you're walking, I don't know, through Rocco City to go to JD Sports.
Yeah, that's weird.
Or that shop that you like, Universal Store.
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to have some shoes on.
Yeah, but what about if you're walking through Woolworths and someone drops some fresh produce on the floor where you just walk and they just put it back?
Yeah, well, I don't really think about that. I try not to think about that.
Yeah.
Because I still wash my stuff.
Yeah, but
Like
do you wash your dogs before you walk into the store barefoot?
No.
I feel a little bit weird going into like HJ's, Subway, stuff like that.
It's grotty.
Yeah.
But like a fish and chip shop, I think you can do that barefoot.
That's what you sign up for when you get a fish and chip.
Or what about a cafe?
Yeah, well, I don't feel great about it, but sometimes I'll go barefoot.
think it depends where it is. If it's close to the beach, it's fine. Because you go to the beach barefoot.
Yeah, that's when I would. I wouldn't just go to a cafe barefoot.
No.
Like if
I'd never drive to a cafe with no shoes.
If you're in Meekatharra, you wouldn't just walk into the cafe. But I would actually, because I'm on a road trip.
If you people from Melbourne listening to this won't understand what we're talking about because they always rock their shoes.
People in Melbourne wouldn't understand anything we talk about.
Pretty much, yeah. Shout out Mikey Spain if you're listening.
Oh, maybe Mikey Spain would. The thing about Melburnians is that they think we're just like massive bogans.
Yeah, they think we're just like.
They think we walk around.
They think we're from another country. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
they think we walk around in like bintang singlets, like barefoot everywhere, just drinking beer. Like that's all they think.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, we've got character.
Yeah, we like the beach.
We're people as well.
Yeah, we like living.
Yeah.
Jump.
The worst diet. What do you reckon the worst diet is?
Probably. I don't know. I just don't really like keto diet. So
Yeah.
if I think of diet, I just think keto diet. Especially when people like they put no thought into it, and they're just thinking about losing weight.
Yeah.
Because some people do keto because they've got their own beliefs.
You're probably going to lose weight if you get on
100%.
keto because you're just going to eat protein and you're just going to be so satiated the whole time. You're not going to have any room for shit food.
Agree. But
I agree.
Yeah.
I think no carb diet is the worst, trashiest diet. Like,
or when people go vegan or vegetarian for a lifestyle because they think it's healthy and healthier. Not because because they're not doing it from an animal standpoint, but they just think it's healthy. I think it's like, brother, sister, do your research, yeah?
what do you got against the vegan diet?
Oh, I don't know, a bit of protein wouldn't hurt you. Dairy?
Yeah, but you can get protein in a vegan diet.
100%.
It's obviously just way harder.
Yeah.
I feel like vegans just suffer a lot with like low iron, like iron deficiencies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The problem with the vegan diet, and I know, I lived with vegans for a pretty extensive period, is that they just, you can't, you need your protein, right? And it's actually quite difficult to get your protein if you don't consume any animal products, right?
Yeah.
But it's not impossible. You can still get it.
Yeah, 100%.
But the fact is, they just like, they'll eat like fishless fillets,
Yeah.
sweet and sour like chicken tenders, like fake Impossible burgers, and it's
Tastes like shit.
well to be
Well,
honest,
some of it actually tastes healthy.
man, those vegan sweet chili chicken tenders are just phenomenal.
HAs used to do a vegan Whopper. They probably still do, and that was actually
What
pretty
was it
good.
called again? The Impossible burger? No,
Yeah,
what was it?
something like that.
They don't do it anymore.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't asked for it, but
No, well, it's good. Like, you can be a vegan and be very healthy. Like you said, Alec Blennis is.
Alec Blennis, shout out Alec Blennis.
But I guarantee you, he supplements heavily and really, like,
But he's someone who would do it right.
he heavily considers what he eats. Whereas, like, most of these vegans just completely take out animal products, just eat fishless fillets and chicken tenders, and then they're like, oh, I've got low iron.
Yeah.
Really? God, I could have never have picked that.
Who would have
That's
picked
incredible.
that?
But that's what I mean. So I don't really have beef with the vegan diet. I just think
Well, what would be your worst diet?
no carb.
Yes,
It's the
keto.
dumbest ever. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you exercise. I just think carbs are fuel. Why would you not want that fuel?
How you feeling, kid? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That'd be an interesting diet to do. I thought when we did that challenge that you were going to say like, oh, you have to be keto or something for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Looking back, I was just warming you up.
Not sure what for, but
Just some harder challenges along the way.
yeah.
But we'll get to there.
What do you reckon the best diet is? So your personal humble opinion is that the keto is the worst,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then vegan second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best diet is just eating healthy. Just like you said before, you're five
No,
veg.
it's got to be a diet. It's got to be a diet.
I don't
Mine-
follow a diet. I just eat.
Yeah, of course. We can tell you don't follow a diet.
Piss
big
off.
kid. We can tell that. You don't need to tell us.
What's your diet then?
I don't have a diet.
Exactly. What's the difference?
What's that got to do with the question? The question is, what do you think the best diet is?
Oh, I don't know what mine's called.
It's not am I on a diet? You're not on a diet. But if you had to get on one, what would it be? My one would probably be polo pescatarian.
What's that?
Someone that just doesn't eat red meat.
Oh, yeah, that'd be right.
Because I feel like you can get away with
lots
that.
of chicken.
Yeah, lots of fish and chicken.
So you miss the steaks though.
Oh, you'd miss it badly, but I think from a health standpoint, or a Mediterranean diet would be good. You're getting a little bit heavy on the butters, the oils, stuff like that.
Mediterranean doesn't have a lot of carbs too, does it? You think
we eat bread with every single meal.
But that's not in the Mediterranean diet, is it?
I'm pretty sure it is. What's the Mediterranean diet? Italian and Greek people.
Maybe I think of another diet. I love bread.
Bread's awesome. When I stay in Eastern Europe, I eat bread 5 times a day.
Oh, the sandwiches?
Sandwiches. Every time you eat anything, you just whack bread all over the plate just to get every last
As you would, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, best diet. I don't know, that one that you just mentioned. Because you can definitely get away with it, with your chicken and your fish.
Yeah. But then you can't say that red meat doesn't serve its purpose. Like it's got quite a lot of important vitamins and minerals in it.
For sure.
And it's just a cheat code for getting protein in.
And it just tastes so good.
Yeah. That's my shtick against like hell white Anglo-Saxon people, is that they're like, don't use butter, don't use too much oil. Why?
Yeah.
Do you not like your food tasting good?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that is perfectly fine. As soon as you start like going above and beyond butter or above and beyond oil, yes, that's obviously not good for you, but add a bit of flavour, kid, you know?
Literally. I don't know why people want to have bad food.
You just got to enjoy your food.
I was thinking this morning when I was eating brekkie, people always like, oh, it's so hard to eat to like fuel yourself for training. Oh, I don't know how athletes do it. It's like athletes have professional chefs that cook them the best food all the time and make them want to eat.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard. You just need to do that for yourself.
100%. Like, as soon as people think like, oh, how do you get enough protein in, they go through all these like whack things.
Literally like oven baked chicken with no seasoning on it.
Or like overnight oats with protein powder.
Yeah.
And it's just food's good. Experiment with it. There's so many good things out there.
I agree. Like, make yourself want to eat. Just be conscious of what you're eating and make sure it's healthy, and then eat literally whatever you want, as long as you're also taking into consideration you're eating enough vegetables, eating enough protein, stuff like that.
Pretty much, if what you're eating has good colour, it's generally good. It's not that hard to eat.
Yeah, like a nice saxophone yellow capsicum, stuff like that.
Be handy if my spine could flex sometimes. So.
Yeah. Fan questions. So we'll call them fan questions, but I'm going to tread a little bit lightly on that term, fans. Anyway, a couple of questions we got sent through. If you ever have any questions, just reach out to us and we'll be happy to answer them. Question 1. I know you can't out-train a bad diet, but can you out-diet overtraining? No.
No, definitely not.
You literally, and I'll explain this. People think you can out-train a bad diet, but you just can't. You only have so much time each day where you can actually exercise. And on top of that, you need to adapt to your exercise. You can't just exercise hard, not adapt, and then just continuously do that. Whereas you can eat all day.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fair. It's not a fair amount of time that you can contribute to both of those things.
People tend to think that when they train, when they gym, or when they do cardio and that they can just eat whatever they want.
Yeah.
And I've had clients before like that where, especially clients who are wanting to lose weight, and they're like, oh, but I'm gymming, but I'm still not losing weight. And then you question, like, what are you eating? And they're saying this, and you're like, well, brother, doesn't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't matter how hard you're training.
4 sausage and egg McMuffins aren't, you know?
Yeah. Just that window, like the window of opportunity to eat shit and then just doing that. There's no way you can just out train that.
No.
But I mean, Ross Edgley probably can, but I think like him and 3 other people in the entire universe probably can. Yeah. And then he's like probably swimming like 16 hours a day, the days where he can out train bad diet, and then he can't actually keep that up. That's not sustainable.
He consumed, wasn't it 10,000 calories most days? He put on about 10 kilos for that swim. Incredible. But he obviously needed it.
Yeah. Said principle. But the question is actually, I know you can't out-train a bad diet, but can you out-diet overtraining? And you can't recover from overtraining.
No.
Like, overtraining is a term used to say, like, you've actually done way too much to the point where
you can't maintain it.
You can't recover from it or adapt to it. That's what overtraining is, because a lot of people always say, you hear this quote, oh, you can overtrain, you just need to recover better. It's like, you can't recover enough.
And you might still be able to get to training, but the quality of your training will be shit.
Yeah. Your body can only accept so much stress and it turn that into something positive.
Yeah.
There's a certain particular threshold that it can handle.
It's like filling up a bucket. Like, once the bucket's full and you keep chucking water to it, the bucket's getting nothing else out of it. You know?
Yeah. And it's going to get dirty and it's going to get messy and it's not going to be nice.
Yeah, you get no wins from it.
I feel like when I was younger, I could actually overtrain pretty good.
I think that's the only time.
Yeah, because your body's just so easily adaptable. Like,
and you learn a lot from it when you're young.
Whereas, man, if I did the same training regimen I did when I was 17, 16, nah, I couldn't.
No.
I couldn't. Got to be way more detailed, way more load management. You got to be very conscious of what you're doing.
Yeah, so true.
Nowadays, like, honestly, I'll be doing something and I'll just stop and I'll think I've got another set, but I'm just not going to do it because I know that I'll just be overreaching with this next set.
And the quality won't be there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I used to adapt to like anything when I was 16. You could say go run for like 16 days, no sleep, and I would adapt to it somehow.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
Nowadays, yeah, I got to be very careful, which is frustrating. I hate it.
But that's just life, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. So imagine what recoverability is going to be like when we're 35.
We'll think about that when it comes to it.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can't out-train a bad diet and you can't out-diet overtraining. It's just not. You're doomed. You got to have a good balance in that aspect.
So true.
Yeah. And also, just to quickly finish up, how would you out-diet overtraining? What would you do? Eat heaps? Like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about eating like good foods with good nutritional value? Are you talking about like excessively eating calories to try like combat that overtraining?
Like a dirty bulk?
Yeah. I don't know. You can't do anything about overtraining. Overtraining is a term used to describe doing too much. Question 2. What is the best warm-up? It depends on the context of what you're actually doing, but for the gym...
Obviously what works for you. Everyone has a different warm-up that they enjoy.
Yeah.
But for the gym itself...
I reckon the assault bike for 5 minutes.
Assault bike's really good. I wish I could do it. Can't really comment on it.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
But I always recommend it to my clients. But just get your heart rate up to a little bit, or just doing the exercise at a lighter weight.
Yeah.
That's generally what I do 9 times out of 10.
Well, what's the best warm-up the best warm-up for me personally would be 10 minutes on the assault bike. It would be a bunch of preparing for a bunch of movements that I'm about to do, and then it would be a couple warm-up sets, right? That would be the best one. The warm-up I usually do is 5 minutes on the assault bike and then a more introductory type exercise. So of late, for legs, tonight I'm going to the gym, I'll do 5 minutes on the assault bike and then I'll do a lateral sled drag. And lateral sled drag's hard, but it's not that hard that I can't just jump in. But at the same time, it's kind of prepping me up, like warming me up even more, warming my hips up a lot and my ankle joints and knees.
Yeah.
And getting me really prepared for my next exercise, which would be like a barbell back squat.
Yeah. And then for upper, For example, if
Oh,
I'm
just hanging and swinging.
Yeah, hanging feels so
swinging
good.
your arms around the air. All I do is hang and swing my arms around the air after the assault bike, and then I'm
Yeah.
ready.
But if I could do the assault bike, it would be the assault bike, and then, but even that, just especially if I'm strapped for time, just do a few lighter sets of bench.
Yeah, definitely. Because you see people, literally, I see people come into the gym, they'll do like a full priming mobility circuit, and their warm up, they'll do rolling and all this jazz. Their warm up will end up being like 15, 20 minutes, which is just not sustainable.
No.
You don't have enough time to warm up for that long. Most people don't. Most people have like
For the
45 to 60 minutes to get in and out of the gym.
And they're spending at least a quarter, if not half of the session warming up.
Yeah.
This is not.
And so that's
optimal.
why like 5 minutes of just getting your heart rate up, moving. Because why do you warm up? You warm up firstly to get your heart rate up, get the blood flowing, and to spike your hormones.
Yeah.
Because when you go into warm up, you know how you feel shit, and then once you've done that, you
feel a lot better.
You've raised the heart rate, blood circulating better, you've spiked your hormones. You're like, okay, I feel better now. That's what that process is. So when someone says, what's the best warm up? Those are the things you're trying to do. Improve heart rate, spike those hormones, which will also improve that like blood circulation, which all go hand in hand. And then if you're talking about a real perfect diet, perfect
warm
up, on top of that, like priming that CNS would be good, which is warm-up sets, or if you're doing like a bench press or a squat, doing some sort of plyometric to prepare the central nervous system.
Plyos are great for warm-ups.
Yeah.
But then, especially if you're like a powerlifter or someone who cares about what you're lifting, doing lighter sets of that movement,
Yeah.
you can't fault that.
If I was a powerlifter, I would do like box jumps. I would do like
Plyos are great for powerlifters.
like very intensive plyometrics before, just to like wake up the CNS, wake up the body, get like a lot of muscle recruitment.
Yeah. I was for lower body days. I love doing plyos and then like calf raises first.
Oh really?
It just feels good
Yeah, true.
before like a big movement.
Well, that's it. I've been doing hamstring curls before my
Yeah,
squats.
hamstring. I've actually been doing that the last few weeks too.
Made famous by Mountain Dog.
Mountain Dog is
Mountain Dog. You don't know Mountain Dog?
Mountain Dog? No. Might know his
John
face.
Meadows. He's a bodybuilder / PT who died actually like 3 years ago. Very old school, but very, very well respected. Like if you know your bodybuilding and like sciencey based lifting type stuff from the 2000s, maybe like early 2010s, you won't be able to go past Mountain Dog. And he's the guy that popularized, he calls it pre-fatigue.
Yeah.
So when you do your hamstring curls before your squats, it's pre-fatigue, and it's just warming up that like knee complex and getting the hamstrings like nice and warm, because you don't really use them for the squat, but it just warms that whole area up.
Yeah, this feels good.
I would definitely look into his stuff. He's a G.
And putting in exercises as, for example, a lot of people skip calves, especially on lower body days. So if it's something that you always skip,
yeah,
like 7 to 8 times out of 10, chuck them in first and use it as your warm up.
yeah.
And then you're getting it done, and then 2, you're going to feel better for your actual movements.
That's why I'm doing lateral sled drags for my warm-ups or my first exercise at the moment, because I know I'm not doing that shit at the end of the session.
Nah.
Same with calves. Like I got a few clients at the moment doing calves first, because I know, like you said, probably going to just disregard it at the end of the session because we won't have enough time.
Yeah.
But even if we do have enough time, they're knackered.
Yeah, they're intense.
So it's like you put that hamstring curls, these types of exercises at the start of the session, that rear delts, all these meticulous like things that are pretty annoying. You just do at the start. But I actually I really like training calves now.
Oh yeah. Well, it doesn't really look like you do, considering how small they are.
Well, I never had calves until I went on that first big Euro summer and mountain climbed heaps. I swear to God, I had no calves before I climbed mountains in bulk.
Yeah,
and then I came home and I had these baby cows, man.
Second biggest in SJ's.
Yeah, maybe pound for pound, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. So, for the best warm up, like sciencey best warm up, I would jump on the assault bike for 10 minutes, and then I would do some sort of plyometric if I'm doing something heavy.
Yeah.
Just to like fire up that CNS, and then just a couple warm up sets. I reckon that's perfect. You don't need to overcomplicate things. You just don't. Just do that, and you're safe.
Also, just find out what works best for you, and play around with it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. It's obviously really context dependent. But what about like running and stuff like that? Because we're just talking about basically a gym sesh. What about a run? What about a swim? What about all these other things? A cycle? Because when I go cycling, I never warm up.
No, you just...
When I run, I warm up, but I never do really plyos and stuff like that. I used to, but now the more I learn about energy systems, I don't want to mess with them, so I just do the strict running pretty much. Swimming, I never do a warm-up. Swimming, I just shake my arms for like a minute and I jump in.
Swimming, like when I used to swim, we used to do a fair bit of dry land work. Especially the stuff...
What? Dry land?
That's what it's called. Like the stuff you do, like...
Just dry humping the ground.
Pretty much, yeah. But it was a lot of stuff just obviously for your shoulder. A lot of core work. But for swimming, I think just a good warm-up in the pool, I think is
just slowly
top
increasing
tier,
that intensity.
And then, what was the other one you mentioned? Running. If it's like long distance running, I wouldn't warm up. I would just do like a K or two real slow and build it up. Yeah.
But if you're doing sprinting, you have to warm up. Do not sprint without warming up. Like,
what about someone who's going for a run, but they're also trying to fit their pliers? Then would you do the pliers as a warm up?
I'd do the pliers as a warm up. What type of run are they doing?
This is an average person who's wanting to do 5K, but they're doing the lower body that day.
I would do plyos beforehand. Yeah.
Because that's what I've been doing all late, and especially when it's cold in the morning.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
Just jumping around the house before you have to leave it.
Yeah, a few stompers.
Yeah, a couple of stompers are good. I usually do that, some pogos. But if you are sprinting, just do like a short jog, go through like a proper dynamic warm-up, like some A skips, B skips, like some skip series, maybe some stuff like that, and then just build into a couple of sprints where you're building up from like 70 to 80 to 90. Especially as you're getting older. When you're a kid, like when you were durable as, you could literally just sprint, no problems. But nowadays you kind of got to definitely warm up the body.
Yeah.
For the demands you're placing on it.
For sure.
Question 3. What's your last meal? If you were in a county jail in Texas or Massachusetts or whatever, and they're about to put you in the electric chair or hang you or whatever, it's up to you, what would your last meal be?
Gee, that's tough.
Yeah, for me, it's like I want to have a bit of variety, but then also at the same time, I don't want those foods to like impede on each other and like ruin the experience I have with those foods, if that makes sense. So like,
do you get a dessert?
You can get whatever you want. It's your last meal.
Maybe like a good barbecue, like, but I'm talking about like Big Donnie's, like,
oh yeah,
whether it's a brisket,
yeah,
like that type of stuff.
It's like a full brisket.
Not like an Aussie barbie, like,
yeah,
but like a T-bone steak, brisket.
Why T-bone though?
I'm not T-bone, no.
I don't think T-bone's the best.
No, tomahawk.
Oh, tomahawk, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, bro wants a T-bone for his final meal.
No,
what do you pour out?
Yeah, so maybe that, but like cooked by someone legit.
Yeah.
Like Big Donnie's. And then maybe like a cheesecake or a brownie to finish up on.
Yeah. That sounds good, yeah. Can't go past that.
Or a good steak salad would be pretty good.
Well, that's what I would do. I'd probably start off with sashimi, and then I'd probably use a bit of... I don't like ginger, but I'd really like to cleanse the palate before I continue on with my meals. I don't want that raw fish to ruin the integrity of the rest of the meals.
Yeah.
Probably go for a sandwich type series. So I'd probably have like a chicken schnitzel sandwich.
Oh.
And then I would have a really good steak sanger with chimichurri, like a really good one. Some nice like paprika thyme chips. And then I just have a little bit of sarma, which is like a Serb cabbage roll. I just have a little bit of that and creme schnedder, which is it's a Slovenian dessert, which is at that Lake Bled, which is just unbelievable. It's like a cheesecake a little bit. It's like a creamy cheesecake. Yeah,
that sounds good,
dude. It's cut off a different cloth. It's incredible, and a bit of patizzo, which is also like a dry walnut type cake with the consistency of, say, a banana bread, and that would be me. And I wouldn't overindulge in any of it. As soon as I feel myself filling up on one,
once you appreciate
I want the next one.
Yeah, once you've got the taste, got the bite, you'd move on.
Yeah, I find that hard to do, but I feel like if I was about to die,
you just want a bit of taste of all the more.
Yeah, just a nibble. Maybe a beer at the very end if I'm not too full.
I can do a beer before, I can do a beer afterwards.
Why?
It's way too bloated.
Yeah, but you're gonna die.
Yeah, but I don't enjoy drinking a beer after I eat.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I never actually enjoy it. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, that'd probably be me.
What beer?
Nah, not beer. The other stuff I explained.
But what beer would it be?
Swan Draft, probably.
On tap, it's good.
Yeah, unbelievable drop. Yep, that's a wrap.
Episode 5 done. I gotta learn Japanese.
Yeah, you gotta learn. Well,
I don't have to learn it, but I gotta study it for 50 days.
Yeah, it's a
50 days. Yeah, 50 days.
50. Did we say 50?
I don't know. I should have learned what we said.
We'll have to check when I edit it in 3 weeks. Yeah, it's actually it's tough studying a language. On Duolingo, it doesn't really, like, you can do 5 minutes, but 20 minutes for me is going to be rough. But thanks, appreciate you watching and listening. Subscribe if you want, like this video if you thought it was good. If you have any questions, just DM us or comment on the video. And just remember, this podcast is sponsored by SJ's Community.
There's a 7-day free trials for good training, so hit it up.
Thanks.
Cheers.